They evolved to become a full-fledged military branch of themselves. The Gestapo, that was the secret police, another paramilitary/police branch of the Nazi party, eventually led by Heinrich Himmler, who terrorized citizens, rounding up and disposing of anyone considered a threat to Germany, the Nazis, creating an atmosphere
Pretty sure
of
that's
constant
Heinrich,
fear,
not Henrik.
everyone looking over their shoulder, neighbors ratting out
Okay.
nothing, so they didn't get ratted out first for nothing. And then you got the German military. You still have a German army loyal to the president, a force that refused to completely go away despite the Versailles Treaty. And there was other factions, quite a few. There was other groups loyal to other political parties. Remember, there's 40 parties. A lot of them have their own little militia, like the Iron Front, the Battle League, the Steel Helmet. They're fucking floating around Germany. So how did Hitler and the Nazis go from one of these little political parties floating around to controlling Germany? How did Hitler go from chancellor to Führer? That explanation calls for a Timesuck timeline.
Strap on those boots, soldier. We're marching down a Timesuck timeline.
(1932). In November 1932, Hitler is named chancellor for reasons I've already described. He takes office in early 1933 and escalates the anti-Semitic rhetoric he's been spewing around Germany since around 1919. Like here's a quote from a speech he gave way back in 1920. The overall theme being getting out from under the sanctions of the Versailles Treaty and that the Jews are the problem. Quote, "For us, it is a problem of whether our nation can ever recover its health, whether the Jewish spirit can ever really be eradicated. Don't be misled into thinking you can fight a disease without killing the carrier, without destroying the bacillus. Don't think you can fight racial tuberculosis without taking care to rid the nation of the carrier of that racial tuberculosis. This Jewish contamination will not subside. This poisoning of the nation will not end until the carrier himself, the Jew, has been banished from our midst." Wow, so it's his speeches, early on,
Let's
this guy was a fucking nut. But culturally, the Jewish people are not well loved, so that's maybe it wasn't stopped. 1933 interview. Here's an excerpt interview he gave to a German-American magazine in 1933. "Why does the world shed crocodile's tears over the richly merited fate of a small Jewish minority? I asked Roosevelt. I asked the American people. Are you prepared to receive in your midst these well-poisoners of the German people and the universal spirit of Christianity? We would willingly give every one of them a free steamer ticket and a 1,000-mark note for traveling expenses if we could get rid of them." Holy shit. And make note of that reference to the well-poisoners, right? That's some medieval anti-Semitism. So clearly, anti-Semitic attitudes have been prevalent in Germany for a long, long time. They never faded away. 1933, anti-Semitic legislation. Hitler doesn't waste time upon appointment as chancellor to start pushing an anti-Semitic agenda and also get a stranglehold over German politics. Following the appointment of Adolf Hitler as chancellor on January 30th, 1933, the new government, the coalition of Nazis and German nationalists, moved quickly to suspend basic civil rights for all Germans.
Nope, sure to get a Dark Harvest deck, that sucks.
In the Reichstag, the German parliament, on February 28th, 1933, the government claims fire was a signal for a communist state. It proclaims a state of emergency in a decree that suspends constitutional civil rights and enables Hitler to decree further legislation without parliamentary confirmation. So now Hitler has incredible leeway as chancellor to pass whatever laws he fucking basically wanted to. And just like that, boom, the Third Reich is born, the reign of the Nazis.
No going
March
back.
31st, 1933. The decree of Berlin, city commissioner for health, suspends Jewish doctors from city charity services. April 1st, 1933. The stormtroopers initiated a campaign to encourage boycotts of Jewish-owned businesses.
Yeah, she gets a pretty free lane against me.
Small Jewish stores,
I have no counterplay to her giant shield.
David are painted with slogans like "Don't buy from Jews." Holy shit! Stormtroopers lingered menacingly outside larger businesses owned by the Jews, including department stores, cinemas.
I'm just gonna have to focus on just trying to survive.
Several instances of Jews being assaulted on property, having their property destroyed. This boycott was reported as being the work of the stormtroopers rather than the Nazi government. Nevertheless, the government did very little to halt or restrain it. April 7th. Same day, law for the reestablishment of the professional civil service removes Jews from government service. Also on April 7th, 1933, law on the admission to the legal profession forbids the admission of Jews to the bar. April 25th, law against overcrowding in schools and universities limits the number of Jewish students in public schools.
Let the bloodshed begin.
denaturalization law revokes the citizenship of naturalized Jews and undesirables. That's a quote. That's not me saying that. October 4th, law on editors bans Jews from editorial posts. I mean, at the national level, the Nazi government revoked the licenses of Jewish tax consultants, imposed a 1.5% quota on admissions of non-Arab schools and universities, fires Jewish civilian workers from the army. 1934 forbids Jewish actors to perform on the stage or screen. I mean, local governments are also issuing regulations that affect other spheres of Jewish life, like in Saxony. The Jews can no longer slaughter animals according to ritual purity requirements, so, preventing them from obeying Jewish dietary laws. Stormtroopers, SS soldiers randomly begin to attack Jewish citizens. Nothing's done to stop it. People began disappearing to concentration camps. They went to death factories they'd soon become, but people did get killed. And why weren't Aryans friends of these Jews defending them? Well, partly because laws were passed also that made political dissent illegal. You could literally be thrown into a concentration camp for criticizing the government and executed without a trial. That was in the 30s. Standing up for a Jewish citizen constituted criticism of the government. There was a huge propaganda movement, very much a you are with us or against us movement. That's why I never liked when fucking George, W would throw that phrase around. You're either with us or against us. Nah, that's dictator language, man. Calm down on that shit. Nazi emblems were thrown around all public buildings, and then soon private buildings as well. If you weren't waving the Nazi flag, you were an enemy. And I read about numerous accounts of stormtroopers marching down the street and just beating people who either looked Jewish or didn't salute them. You just get beat for not giving them the fucking Heil Hitler. Constant speeches about those who aren't in favor
so we had a slight advantage now.
Enemies of the state.
Just because she played that really poorly.
Should be limited. A lot of Germans don't seem to mind because their lives aren't directly impacted by any of this. Remember, over 99% of the population is not Jewish. Also, when Jewish opportunities and jobs are taken away, Aryan Germans benefit. They get those positions now. Late 1933, marriage between Jews and Aryans wasn't yet illegal, but strongly discouraged by the Nazis. In the fantastic Eric Larson book about Germany in 1933-1934, In the Garden of Beasts, Martha Dodd, daughter of America's ambassador to Germany at the time, witnessed a scene in Nuremberg where stormtroopers were parading a young woman down the middle of the street, broad daylight. They'd shaven her head, covered her face in powder to make her look like some sick clown, and they hung a sign around her neck saying, quote, "I gave it up for a Jew." Her crime? Being engaged to a Jewish man in Germany in 1933. She cried as she was being pushed along, and the crowd just laughed. The bartender later told Martha Dodd that the woman had simply been taught a lesson. I mean, that's the fucking cultural attitude going on. And part of that is because a lot of propaganda is being shoved down their throats. Before the German people themselves seem too overly complicit in all of this, I should also mention the Reich Ministry of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda. Founded on March 14, 1933, it was led by Nazi Party member Joseph Goebbels, and Goebbels used it to control all the German news, media, literature, visual arts, filmmaking, theater, music, and broadcast. When one was like I just mentioned,
okay, I'm dead.
News didn't catch attention of the outside world either. Hitler controlled the narrative of Germany. Knowing this makes me cringe when I hear Trump refer to the media in general as fake news, or when he tweets about wishing he could pull SNL off the air. Now look, if you're getting all fired up right now, I don't think Trump's Hitler. I really don't. But the best way for a dictator or dictatorship to rule how they see fit is to control the media. That's fucking terrifying.
There are two sides to every issue. My side and
I overstayed, but that was a really coordinated move by them.
Can't take criticism. Hitler had that kind of control back then. Killed for, quote, resisting arrest. They were killed by the Gestapo or sent to a concentration camp for being a political dissident. Hitler was able to make it appear as though the whole nation was with him, which they actually weren't. There was one really cool thing I read that was, made me think very highly of some of the German
Camille got a decent lead there.
There was a man, 1934, Franz von Papen. Now he was the vice chancellor, so he was like, the vice president to whatever Hitler's presidency, even though he was the president above them. Again, fucking weird political system. But on June 17th, 1933, he's had enough of Hitler, and he gives a speech at the University of Harvard. He says, regarding Hitler's ruthless control over every aspect of government, quote, "The government is well aware of the selfishness, the lack of principle, the insecurity,
that was bullshit.
Unchivalrous
Minions were in range. I should not have taken that tower shot.
Under the guise of the German Revolution." Now, the speech was met with thunderous applause, clearly showing that a lot of people were afraid to stand up to
Only
Hitler,
fools
but wanted to
hesitate.
do so if given the opportunity. But the speech doesn't make it out to the general population, doesn't make it past this college audience because Hitler's propaganda minister blocks publication. Papen then threatens to tell President Hindenburg
I am out
himself
of
that Hitler
patience.
had silenced him and overstepped his bounds as chancellor.
Precision is the
Hindenburg was the one man who could still remove Hitler from power, like the only dude. A man who had curiously stood by and allowed Hitler to do everything he'd done.
Why?
But again, he's
Because I
anti-Semitic himself. And dude's 86 years old and suffering from lung cancer. He doesn't want to fucking bother with the whole Hitler situation. He wants to, I don't know, have a little bit more sauerkraut and sausage and fucking die in a mansion or something. Well, Papen never gets a chance to rat out Hitler to Hindenburg anyway, which he told Hitler he was going to do. Hitler had Papen seized by
Keep
Göring, a man
friends
who
close
founded the Gestapo,
and
and then
enemies
Hitler enacted a purge against all political rivals on June 30th. June 30th, July 2nd, 1934, a purge that became known as the Night of the Long Knives. Gestapo and SS forces kill Stormtrooper Looter Room,
without mercy.
many of Papen's associates, various other Nazi party higher-ups who either were considered to be against Hitler or considered to be hungry for power. At least 85 people are killed in an official estimate. Unofficially, the number is thought to be closer to 800. And then Hitler spins this whole thing to President Hindenburg as he tried to stop a coup. He did a brave thing. And then he doesn't want to kill, for some reason, nobody really knows fully why, Papen. And he sends Papen to Austria to redeem himself by helping the party manipulate the Austrian government. And then on August 1st, Hitler gets word that Hindenburg was on his deathbed. He has the cabinet pass the, quote, law concerning the highest state office of the Reich.
Only fools
Which
hesitate.
stipulated that upon Hindenburg's death, the offices of president and
I'm
chancellor
coming to
would
get
be
you.
merged under the title of leader and chancellor, the Führer. And then no one can stop him. No one challenges this because they know to challenge him now is certain death after the Night of the Long Knives. So 1935. In 1935, with Hindenburg out of the way, the government now is totally under Hitler's control. Hitler says, fuck it, I'm going full Führer. Until this point, he's been hiding the militarization of Germany from the rest of Europe, you know, because it's a brazen violation of the Versailles Treaty. He's been hiding them under the guise of paramilitary, you know, militia-type groups, like I said. He's been using his control of the media to claim he seeks only peace internationally. But then in March
We're getting
1935,
out-jungled.
he begins a mandatory conscription of German men in the military. He starts draft, essentially. A direct violation of the treaty. He's no longer going to hide the power of the Third Reich. In May 1935, he bans non-Aryans from military service. In September, he passes the Nuremberg Laws, a series of more severe anti-Semitic laws. The first deprived Jews of citizenship. The second made marriage to or sexual relations with a Jewish person illegal. Other laws prohibited Jewish people from working in the homes of Aryans. It was illegal now for a Jew to hold a German flag. Fuck. And so on and so on. Basically, the first few couple 100,000 Jewish people not fortunate enough to flee Germany by this point had lost all their rights. 1936, Germany takes back the land they lost to France in the Treaty of Versailles. Remember that? They annexed the Rhineland back into Germany. By 1938, Jewish children won't even be allowed to go to school at all.
You will
By
stay where I want you to stay.
very publicly, not trying to hide this with his propaganda minister, but he wants to wipe the Jewish race from the entire fucking planet. And then in September 1939, Germany invades Poland and officially starts World War II.
Good job, soldier. You made it back. Barely.
So there you have it, time suckers. That is how the Third Reich came to be. And they reigned until May 8, 1945, V-Day, when the Nazis surrendered unconditionally to Allied forces in World War II. Pre-existing anti-Semitic attitudes created the perfect scapegoat for a prideful nation hungry for power who just had their ass kicked and their economy destroyed. Hitler stepped in the situation, made the German people feel strong again. Unfortunately, he did it by making, the German people believe that everyone else was weak. Everyone else was unworthy, untrustworthy. They were the reason Germany was suffering. The Germans would have their revenge, and if anyone didn't like that message, they were suppressed or eliminated. I always wondered why America didn't step in sooner to stop Hitler.
Did you
We had an ambassador over there, Ambassador Dodd, reporting on all the stuff that was going on in 1933, 1934. We knew exactly what he was doing, but it was during the Great Depression. America was a lot more concerned with saving its own ass than helping the Jewish people. And we just finished fighting the war during July. And to be totally honest, we were fucking super racist. We were super anti-Semitic. Are you kidding me? Same anti-Jewish sentiments from Europe that colonized America for all the same reasons already laid out. Like, think about America in the 1930s. We weren't letting African Americans vote. We were stopping them from voting. We weren't standing up for them with lynching in the South and segregation. Why the fuck are we going to help out somebody else being segregated? Why are we going to help the European Jews out? We're not helping the African Americans at home. I mean, we weren't practicing racial equality ourselves. We're not going to defend it somewhere else. Now, to take this episode back to the beginning, do I think Trump is Hitler-esque? A little. He loves shouting a simple message. He loves blaming others for our problems, you know? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but erecting a wall and kicking out Muslims and Mexicans, that's not going to get your factory job back. That ship fucking sailed, right? That era is over. He also despises the media for reporting fake news when in reality they're just scrutinizing him like they do every president. He makes himself an easier target than most politicians. He says a lot of stupid shit and then gets mad when people point it out. Now, stop fucking tweeting, buddy. He's a power-hungry narcissist. Now, do I think he would throw political opponents in jail like Hitler if he could? Yeah, I do. Would he control the media like Nazis if he could? Fuck, yeah, of course he would. But luckily, it's not the 1930s.
The
right?
test of good manners is patience.
A lot harder to hide. And we have a better system of government that Germany did in 1930s. More established, more balanced. No president can just run shit past the Senate and Congress all willy-nilly. We have a Supreme Court. So for you alarmists out there, calm the fuck down. Trump's not going to be Hitler. It's not going to happen, but it is good to know what red flags to look for, isn't it? And even if you love Trump, I hope you're not butthurt right now. Don't be a bitch about it. You know, the most important thing you can do in a free country is disagree. I've always believed that. All those people who say, oh, it never fucking stops pissing me off. Well, if you don't love it, why don't you leave? If you don't like it, why don't you get out? No, you're the kind of person that needs to get the fuck out. If you just want to agree with the government, move to North Korea. You simple-minded dipshit. Dictators love some foolish ass who always agrees with the majority. No, the duty of a citizen of a free nation is to constantly scrutinize the government. Keep it in check. This country was built on revolution, in case you fucking forgot. Always be a little distrustful of it. The faith that it's always going to be okay is how you end up in a cult, or how you end up having a Hitler for a ruler. Turning a blind eye, it's never a good plan with government.
Why? Because I was
reminded of a lot of this, putting this Timesuck episode together. Keep an eye on the government. Don't be afraid to speak up for what you believe in. Don't be afraid to protest. Don't be afraid to march. Don't be afraid to disagree with others. You know, even if they're the majority, especially if they're majority. Don't think of people in terms of the group. Remember, they're individuals. Some Muslims are terrorists. You know, for example, which most of them are. That's a stat. Well, I hope you got something more just than trivia. You know what? Yeah. Heavy stuff.
Running will make no difference.
I really feel more rich. Now it's time. Time for some top 5 takeaways.
Timesuck. Top 5 takeaways.
Number 1. Germans love a war. Holy shit, do they love a war. Rightly or wrongly, they were blamed for World War I, and they were definitely blamed for World War II, totally correctly.
Only
two world wars, and they caused both of them. One country caused both of them. But they also gave us, many of us, our language, and they invented aspirin, cocaine. That's right. Chemists had a cocaine powder going. The binary number system used in computer coding, the automobile, the harmonica. Couldn't have coked up John Popper playing Blues Traveler. That was for the Germans. Yeah, not all bad. Number 2, careful how you judge another group of people. Just because they don't talk, dress, or worship like you do doesn't mean they're bad or a threat. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's human nature to do that. But left unchecked, it can grow and has grown into genocide. Number 3, stormtroopers were originally the paramilitary branch of the Nazis. And here all these years, I just thought they were the evil empire's foot soldiers in the Star Wars franchise. I had no idea that was a Nazi reference. I wonder if there's another Nazi reference in those movies, or maybe multiple. You know, is Darth Vader Hitler? Is the Emperor Hitler? Is the Federation the Jews? Are the Ewoks the Jews? I don't know. A lot of questions. Not very many answers. Number 4. When Adolf Hitler kicked off the Third Reich, it was Charlemagne who kicked off the First Reich. I had no idea what a Reich was before this episode. Realm. Man, talk about taking your name to the next level. From Leonard to Charlemagne the God. I don't know really anything about that guy. other than he's very successful with lots of good followers, despite having maybe the most pretentious name I've ever heard somebody give themselves, which makes me sad for our culture, because somebody who seems to be that big of a douche is very popular. And number 5. Trump is no Hitler. Don't kid yourself into thinking things are going to get that bad. They won't. They will not. But if you don't like what he's doing, then protest. Again, nothing is more American than protest. If you don't like protesters, go fuck yourself, you anti-American fake patriot. Again, this country was built on protest. Also, Trump doesn't have a thick mustache. And if he did grow one, and he started doing the whole Heil Hitler stiff arm thing, all that would happen from that is Alec Baldwin getting like 10.
Only fools hesitate.
Timesuck. Top 5 takeaways.
All right, well, thank you for listening, everybody. I hope that was a good bonus episode for you. And happy to say we're already well on our way to the next bonus episode, which is going to drop, the Friday after this 400 iTunes review. Thank you so much to everyone who's already rated and subscribed. You're the best around. No one's ever gonna take you down. I don't even know if that's the right word for the song. I don't even know what that song is. It just fucking came into my head like a missile. The next bonus episode is going to be about Scientology. Let's piss off some Scientologists. Let's get me some death threats. Let's get into some L. Ron Hubbard. Get into getting clear.
Because I can.
Get into some Tom Cruise. Talking some crazy talk. Oh, yes, sir. That one's going to be a funny one. That one's going to be a lot of inappropriate jokes on Scientology. If you're a Scientologist, you may as well stop listening to the podcast. Because you're not going to fucking like it. Well, that's it. That is it. Listen right when the seats drop. Have a good weekend. If not, have a good week. Whatever. Also, some tour dates. I'll be at Hyena in Dallas.
Standard that
Jacksonville Comedy Club, Jacksonville, Florida. March 24th, 25th. Hilarity. Cleveland, April 14th and 16th. Full tour calendar available at Timesuck.tv. More podcast episodes and a link to the tour calendar. Info about the episodes at timesuckpodcast.com. Keep on sucking.
No going back. I like it. I've made my choice. To the point. Because I can. No going back. Keep friends close and enemies guessing. Ready for trouble? Patience. Complacency breeds death. Patience isn't a virtue, it is the virtue. Never play fair. Only fools hesitate. Ready for trouble? To the point. Never play fair. Sides to every issue. My side and the wrong side. Is that fear I smell? Winning means being better. I didn't say you could. Let's dance. Why? Because I can. Only fools hesitate. My pleasure. I made my choice. No going back. Keep friends close and enemies close. Blood for Noxus! Intriguing. Only fools. A sharp blade quickens the work. Looks like I missed a spot. Tut tut, a lady never dirties her hands. I like it. Oh. Never play fair. Intriguing. going back. You're all mine. To the point. Running is only half the battle. I am out of patience. I've made my choice. The test of good manners is patience. Why? Because I can. Ready for trouble? That was me. Keep friends close and enemies guessing. Marked by the void. My plan. Yes. Only fools hesitate. Only fools hesitate. Waiting yields the most reward. Ready for trouble? Not again. Let's dance.
Oh! God damn, I went man mode.